Right. I'm off to deal with the fate of the planet. Be gentle with them.
Oh, you know me, Mark. Kid gloves, but made from real kids.
As soon as the Thunderbolts hit theaters, I grabbed my bag, headed straight to my go-to cinema and caught the first showing. And let me tell you, Marvel might finally be back on track. You know, in the past I have talked about films that I didn't like or were below my expectations, and this is hands down their best film in a while, where Captain America Brave New World felt like a perfectly serviceable popcorn flick. The Thunderbolts actually manages to rise above that. It's fast-paced, sharp, and genuinely entertaining, with chemistry, banter, action, and an emotional journey that is not just completely played for laughs. There's serious subjects in it, and it's discussed seriously, and I loved it. Now I want to focus on the characters and what I liked about it. Let's start with Florence Pugh. Honestly, she could play a loaf of bread in silence and would be still captivating. Her take on Yelena may not resemble the comic version much, but it doesn't matter when it is that good, I believe. Pugh completely owns every scene, whether she's delivering emotional weight or tossing out singers. There's this cool, grounded presence to her and the overall chaos around Yelena. Here, Florence is not just well cast, but the material she's working with matches her acting ability, which is rare in the MCU lately. Now, David Harbour's Alexei is the comic relief of the film, yes, but refreshingly, he never wears out his welcome, in my opinion. This version of Red Guardian is far more grounded than the caricature in What If, and I believe it's just because it is a role with a lot of ham to it, but underneath, Harbour brings this warmth out, and that yes, he's funny, but he's also surprisingly heartfelt about the stuff that he says and believes in. And then we have Wyatt Russell, who again shines as John Walker. I believe here he gets the chance to even more flesh out his take on a character, because in my opinion there's a tragic nobility to him. John Walker shares Steve Rogers' integrity and desire to do the right thing, but what holds him back is this volatility and anger about himself, and this inner conflict makes him fascinating. Despite being the team's designated punching bag in the film, he's never sidelined. He's flawed, misunderstood, and he still fights to prove himself, and he knows he's an asshole, but that doesn't stop him, and I think that also kind of defines a hero, kind of. At least it's very good translated into the film. Okay, before we get to the rest, let's talk about Taskmaster. Honestly, she's barely in the film, and I'm kind of torn, because Marvel had two options here. Option 1 was to expand on her character and give her an actual arc in this film, or cut their losses. They chose the latter, likely recognizing that Taskmaster didn't land in Black Widow. And while I don't blame Olga Kurylenko for that, it does feel weird to me that she's built higher than Hannah John Carmen's Ghost, despite being barely on the screen. Speaking of Ghost and Bucky, both serve more as background players here, and I mean, for Bucky there's not much to expand on him as a character. His journey is pretty much done, so he's just here in this film to be cool, stoic, and dependable, and it works, you know. And as far as Ghost, she shines a little bit more than in Ant-Man and the Wasp, showing more personality, and her powers are still visually very impressive, but throughout the film they do some stuff to save budget and keep her from using her powers, which is kind of a shame. The biggest point in this film is the Sentry, played by Louis Pullman. And Pullman absolutely nails the transition of this complex character from the comics to the big screen. Now obviously the contrast between Sentry and his darker half, the Void, and the exploration of Bob Reynolds' fractured psyche is handled with surprising nuance in this film. And what I like about the Sentry is that, unlike other Superman analogs, Sentry isn't necessarily an unstoppable icon. He's a tragic figure burdened by mental illness and unimaginable power that keeps him from being the most powerful superhero on Earth. And that paradox is what makes him really interesting. As in the comics, defeating the Void isn't just about punching harder. It's about understanding what's broken inside the man. And honestly, in between writing this review and now recording this review, watched the video, and someone said there, and I absolutely agree, that the original Avengers team couldn't have stopped Sentry in this film, because to stop Sentry you would need a bunch of ragtag broken people like presented here in Thunderbolts to really get to him and emphasize with him. By the way, a little fun fact: whenever people dismiss Marvel Comics as just for kids, I always bring up this particular panel from the Siege event between the Sentry and Ares. I don't believe I can show that here in the video as panel, so for those who know, don't tell, and for those who don't know, Google yourself, but be warned. All told, the Thunderbolts is one of the most cohesive, character-driven and entertaining entries into the MCU. As of recent memory, it operates on the same level as like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's not a mental theme park ride. It actually has some substance and something to say. And so far, I'm calling it, this is my 10 out of 10 Marvel movie of the year. But in the interest of fairness, and because I believe perfection is a moving target that can never quite be achieved, I'll rate the film like an 8.5 to 9. Somewhere between 8.5 and 9 out of 10. And that's it. I hope you liked this video. Tell me what you think about the film. All about in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Subscribe, and we see us in the next video.
Don't forget to subscribe!
Now get the fuck out of my driveway.